Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we're going to be taking a look at Solana to see where we're going next with this particular altcoin. We have completely blasted through all of those Fibonacci areas, the 1.618, the 2.618, the 3.618, and of course that full extension of the 4.236. So as a result of this, we are now in new territory. So I think we're going to have a look at where things are likely to go next and what our kind of price expectations are here for Solana. As we get into this video, if you do find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then do subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here. Right, with that said, done and out of the way, let's dive into this TA for Solana. We can see that this is the weekly chart. We are using Binance as the data source. And we can see that there was a good surge to the upside, right? And this was basically when at the beginning of the year through to about, I think it was at April time, we found this upper resistance area. We saw the correction that many people will call in a bear market, and now we see another run back into the upside. In theory, all of this kind of lines up very nicely with the 5 impulse waves to the upside, Elliott theory. So with Solana being relatively new, we do not actually have wave 1, but we can see wave 2 just here. So we'll draw wave 1 at this point, wave 2 comes in, wave 3 goes up, wave 4, and then we go up into wave 5, okay? So obviously things have been tracking very, very nicely. And right now I'm expecting another 120% from our current position, which will put us in that kind of $400 range. So we're going to get into what's going on here on those lower timeframes and why that's important. But we can also talk about the stochastic being overbought. Again, this is something that can be sustained for a very long time. So we're not overly concerned that we've only just started to become overbought here. So this is actually looking pretty good. If we track this kind of motion now up to this side, we should start to see some pretty good price discovery for Solana. So let's jump down into our daily. In this brief update, we'll take a look at what's going on here. Here we can see basically blasting through all of those Fibonacci areas, right? We have the 1.618, the 2.618, the 3.618, and of course that 4.236. So for those who've been following the channel for a while, we've been talking about $185 Solana for what feels like an absolute lifetime, right? You know, even all the way down in these low areas, we're talking about going up to this kind of level here. And basically we're using the high point of our wave 3 and our low point of our wave 4. So basically the highs from 18th of May down to the lows that were achieved when Bitcoin had a pullback of the 23rd of May. And that there is predicting this level. Now, obviously, Solana with now getting some finally kind of getting some good traction behind it, some good transaction volume, really helping to push things further forward and getting a lot of FOMO coming in as well now, chasing those green candles to the upside. And what you saw here was basically a nice recovery from an oversold area, very quickly going up into this overbought zone. And again, tracking this for quite some time, we're talking about needing that correction on our stochastic. Hit came in just here on top of the 1.618 area, and this pulled us down to the oversold area and has now allowed us to grow right the way back up into the overbought area, right? So now we track this motion here. Now we've had a pullback recently here. Even the fact that you know, what was going on just over here with Bitcoin on the 7th of September, right? We could see that there was a pullback for Solana of 34%. So basically you're almost instantaneously printing money at that point if you were able to basically find this opportunity to buy Solana at this point, because you basically just made a significant profit. You actually took that from that low area up to a new high of 71. So you made 71% in a matter of 2 days just there, right? So again, a fantastic opportunity if you were able to take advantage of it. Right now, the small pullback here is in line with what we're seeing with our stochastic RSI. And again, just bringing us back down to that $185 level, right? So I'm currently tracking at $186 on top of the 4.236. So now what it's doing is it's blasted up, and it's back testing it as a support line. Okay, we saw this time and time again. So what we're looking for here now is to find and hold this as a good support line as we continue our journey to the upside. Okay, so everything on this daily chart is looking pretty good. Again, just coming out of this overbought area like we did previously during this little dip here. This little dip just here. Again, now gearing up, ready for a continued overbought area before another momentum drop is required, or sideways trading for about a week or so. So right now, this is actually a really interesting position to be in for Solana. Now, when we jump down into our hourly, this is where we put a different Fibonacci on and start to think about where things are going. Here we can see that the candles are forming nicely. And we take a look at that high point that was achieved at $195, pulling down into $127. Okay, so again, we have the high high point that was achieved as we blasted past our 4.236. We see the 7th of September, the Bitcoin pullback, right? We see it from going from 195 to 127. If you're buying at 127, you were able to get hold of and sell at, around that $216 range. You're doing incredibly well for Solana, right? Because you're basically able to ride that down, buy down here, and ride it right to the top, right? And that being said, though, it's very hard to buy and sell at the exact tops. But again, opportunities would have been had additionally down here and also around this area here as we started to fall back down. Now, what's kind of wrong here, or what's going to happen, is we can see that we basically held this as area as a support line. Okay, so previously resistance was the 195. Okay, we broke the resistance, we pushed up, we sideways traded, we lost the momentum, we pulled back, and we tried to hold it as support. It broke down. We found support instead on top of our 786, and then back testing a little bit higher on top of our $185 previous high area, the 4.236, and now we're going back up to that 195, testing that area, coming back to test the previous 185, and right now we're actually in an interesting point on our stochastic. We've got plenty of room to grow to the upside, and we just need to check to see what the sentiment is like in the space, right? We can see that the volumes have decreased, even though we are, overall having a bit of a pullback here. So we're now looking for with that is good buying volume to come back in to take our needle back to the upside on our stochastic. Now it's at this point that we should probably jump in to what is going on with the advice dashboard and to make sure that everything is working accordingly. So what we're going to do is we're going to find Solana here on the advice dashboard, load up the data to see exactly what is going on. We can see that overall Solana is an A3 rating cryptocurrency. So where are the problems sitting? Are there any problems, and should we be concerned? We can see that the 𝗕𝗢𝗪 ratio, so liquidity, is an A2 rating, so no problems with liquidity. The fear and greed index has come down from extremely greedy to, I would say, moderately greedy. I'd say it's still greedy, up there in A2 rating. So again, still a lot of FOMO coming in here, but a little bit of uncertainty also entering the market there. And we can see the Sharpe ratio, A2 rating, risk to reward ratio, definitely not there. We can see we're way above our 50-day average. No risks associated in my opinion there. Moving averages, A2, not a problem. And the profitability being up at an A1 rating. The only issue really here is a C2 rating for the peak end value demand. But overall, everything for Solana here is actually coming in very, very well as an A3 cryptocurrency rating. And there's nothing really I would be overly too concerned with. There's a good Sharpe ratio, good 𝗕𝗢𝗪 ratio, good fear and greed index. And overall, everything's working quite well. So we know that there's no real issues in terms of the underlying data, underpinning where things are going for Solana. So overall, I think we are likely to see that push to the upside once again, once we establish a nice strong support line just here on this hourly chart. So expect a little bit of volatility within the next kind of day or so, but I think that as soon as that is over, we'll be pushing back to the upside. Now, the first price target that we have is $237. This is the one that's the 1.618. Okay, so we'll look for that to the upside. The second target is $304. That's followed by $370. And then we finally top out at $413 there, or $414 approximately. So again, in that area is going to be really, really good. It's about 120% from the current position there. So again, everything to kind of look forward to here for Solana. It has been moving very, very well, and I think it's going to continue to do so. It is definitely a project that we want to be watching out for. Hopefully, guys, you have found this brief update on Solana useful and informative. If you have, then hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the space, then do go ahead and subscribe to the channel, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here. With this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.